Good, good. I'm excited, man. That the pregame here was exciting, so I'm excited to get this one rolling. I'm been jazzed up all day about this one. The build up is just something else, so I'm
Yeah.
giddy.
So there's those moments when you talk about kind of meeting your heroes and what the show has done, right? So
Yeah,
way back in season two, we got to meet one of my heroes, Kimball from Ages, and now Chevelle. Obviously,
yeah,
worked with Juliet in the Licks. Kimball was kind enough in his busy schedule. The dude's a rock star, doing millions of things all the time. Was kind enough to come back and help us do a guest interview tonight for our upcoming guests. So before I get into that, I want to take a moment and interview our friend Kimball, bro. How you been, man? How's things going for you?
It's good. Year is winding down, so I'm kind of taking a break. This year, my birthday lands on Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna get fat on my birthday, which is exciting. So
I
yeah,
love that.
so it's good.
So Kimball, man, thanks for coming back, dude. Your episode in season two, which I quote
yeah.
this all the time, is you got to stay genuine. You said a phrase, Kimball, in that episode, which we kind of lived and died by. Said, "Hey, as much as you were good to us, what you've done with Ages, of course, and Juliet, and of course Chevelle, we have made that a mantra to give back, like you did for us, man. So, kudos to you, man. Thank you for doing that. I got to tell
Yeah.
a quick story, Kimball. Dane and I have to tell you this. So I'm on the ride home. My kid, I'm picking her up from volleyball, dude. I got teenagers. Dane has a teenager as well. Dude, we're driving home. We're jamming to we're jamming a drama like I do every freaking week, getting going. And she goes, Dad, whatever this is, can you please turn it down? Either play Taylor Swift or TikTok playlists. And then I had to stop the car. I had to get out. I'm like, dude, I got to walk home. You're driving. So it's modern music. Dude,
Hey,
you know how like there's a missing of modern music, don't you say, Kimball? Like there's a need for it, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. I feel like there's the playlist culture is kind of taken over a bit too much, and I feel like it's gonna it's like how Elvis is still relevant because he's the best, and like the genre, it's just a circle. It comes back.
Yeah.
Everything comes back. Look at the fashion right now, dude. Everything's oversized flannel. It's '90s right now. It's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
My
you go.
wife's in fashion, so I'm like focused on it. But yeah, it's one of those things. My
There you
pants are
go.
too tight, so I'm not quite there. But you know,
But what's cool,
I
dude,
got
is
the
now all
long hair
this.
at least.
Yeah, so Dane has everything from his closet from the 90s
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like now back in
yeah,
style. He just never emptied his
yeah.
closet out, bro. So
I
I
can,
Dude,
love
I
you
it.
can
can walk
show
the runway
I
right now, dude.
yeah, I can show my face and I can show my face in public again without being embarrassed. Back in.
There you go. Hey,
So Kimball,
congrats, dude. You look great.
there's this there's this artist, Kimball. Speaking of like circling back to world music, right? So again, let me say this. I respect new
Well,
artists,
hold
don't
on.
get me wrong.
I got to stop you a sec. Real music. Some music is just not as good as others.
There we go. There we
There,
But
go.
there you
it's
So
all
go.
real. It's all real.
back in my day, right? Let me phrase that. You're right. So back in my day, right? So there's an artist, man, we've been following, had some solo stuff, and then also ventured into this band, dude. What you're gonna see, we're gonna play a little clip for a second. This is her day or music video for Mother. We'll give you guys a second to look at that. This is her and the Alibis band dropping Mother. This band, I'm telling you guys, the way they do lyrical content, the way she writes, the riffs,
Yeah,
the face melting riffs, the drummer, the way they syncopated, it's awesome. That's a little
yeah,
clip of Mother. This band lyrically takes me back to kind of mid 2000s, Kimball, kind of a post maybe Evanescence, Flyleaf type of feel, but also got that modern spin on it with the production and the
yeah,
flair. She really knows how to
Yeah.
write a song, man. So it's very
yeah.
cool. So
Absolutely.
I started following her and I said, "Hey, would you like to come on?" And we were blessed with the time to get Rainy. So I'm gonna get right down to it and bring on our new friend Rainy from Alibis. Rainy, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great. I'm great.
There we go. You know who you are. So
All right. Yes. Very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you
really
for your
excited to
time.
be here. Yes. No,
yes.
my pleasure. I'm so excited to be here. So,
Yes. So Rainey, Dane and I, and of course Kimball, we have some questions for you over the years of doing this show. We're going to
sure.
present to you. I'm going to take the lead, and then I'll go to Dane and Kimball. So Rainey, obviously with your writing style, it's very prolific. I use that word very, very respectfully. I hear this blend. It's poetry. It's haunting. Obviously, your
Mm.
years of being an opera singer, it's just this
Mhm.
eclectic thing, right? You can't put just
Yeah.
one like style of music. But maybe when you're going back to when you first began writing, when you got the bug, maybe how old were you when this began for you, starting writing? What was maybe your first song or the first glimpse of writing? What was that like for? How old were you? You know?
So I guess it started kind of more in middle school. I always as a child, I studied opera very, very rigorously. So, you know, my family really wanted me to be an opera singer or be on Broadway. You know, I had other plans for me. And I was a wild child always, you know, very outspoken and loud. That would not suit my personality at all. So I definitely, you know, explored with, I loved the way I felt when I would start coming up with melodies. And then it actually started with poetry is how I started writing music. I started writing poetry, and I loved writing poetry in middle school, and I would write and write and write and write all the time. I had like notebooks, the 3-ring binders of a lot of them. And I would just write all the time, and I loved it. I didn't know how to craft a song at that point. I just loved getting my emotions and feelings out. And then later, you know, I moved into, you know, kind of in high school, and I was still doing all of the opera stuff. And I just, you know, at that time, especially, you go through such like a whirlwind in high school. You know, you're figuring out who you are. And, you know, I actually went to art school. So it was kind of weird. It was just very different experience than a normal high school. I went there for musical theater. I'm very theatrical, as we all know.
Yeah, I love it.
And I loved Freddie Mercury. He was really awesome. I loved that he studied opera too, and I loved that growing up. So I started to have to really try to craft, like to sing little things. And I learned how to play piano because it was a part of opera. It was required for me to learn how to play an instrument. So I did, and it actually worked out because I hated piano. I hated it. I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. You know, I had this teacher and she was very rigid, and, you know, I would come there and I
Miss
remember,
Trenchable, right?
Yeah, I know. She was
Miss Trenchable.
Her name was Miss Biller.
Okay.
And I sat down, and I just remember there's one specific point where I sat down, and you know, I was doing everything I could because she had the clock on top of the piano. And so I would do everything I could to pretend like I was reaching my sheet music to look and see the clock. And I didn't think that she knew what I was doing. And she stopped me in the middle when I was like, I stood up, and she was like, I know what you're doing. You're looking at the clock. And I was like, I was mortified at that point because I stood there and I was like, oh my God, like
busted.
Yeah, and I sat down, and then I tried to avoid the rest of the piano. It was awful. So eventually I did quit piano like at like 15, 16. And then I continued without her. But yeah, sorry, I got off track. But
no, that's great. That's what I want to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Rainy, I got a quick question. Sorry,
go ahead.
Dan. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So you're saying that your mom want you to be a rock singer, but your mom wanted your mom didn't want you to be like in a band?
No way.
But she was into you being in music, though.
Oh yes, she knew. So my mom knew I was a serious singer. Like, they wanted me to pursue the arts in some way.
That's kind of awesome.
I've been very supported. So that was one thing, because they saw as a child, you know, that I had a major skill singing. You know, and so that's how I got opera lessons. Well, I actually had to prove to my mom that I really wanted them, because she knew I was good, but I was in a bunch of other stuff initially. And so actually, this is another funny, quick little story.
Yeah,
Kimball,
go ahead.
That I was 8. And that's when I really went to my mom and I was like, I really want to have voice lessons, you know? And she was like, why? You're in everything. Like, and this is before, like, you could really see I had like a skill or something, you know?
Sure.
And she was like, why? You're in dance and you're in gymnastics and all this other, you know? And I was like, I really want to sing. And no one in my family sings, not one person, you know? So they were like,
wow.
Okay, yeah. And so they're like, my mom made a deal with me that if I won this local singing competition, she would get me singing lessons. And she didn't think I was gonna, And she, so we went, and I sang Part of Your World from Ariel.
Let's go. Classic. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. and I won.
Oh
And she
yeah,
was-
dude.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wait, so
I won.
Stop the
Yeah.
track. I
Okay.
wonder if there's some footage in Kimball.
Yeah, there's
Dana,
gotta
I'm
be some
picturing this.
footage.
There's got to be some metal like part of your world, just getting down. You know what I'm saying? Like getting down. There's got to be something out there like that, right? So that's your next single, part of your world,
Okay.
the remake. Let's
Yes.
go. There it is. Kimball, that was
There you
great,
go.
dude. That's fantastic,
Yeah,
Kimball. I love
it's
it. Dan, go
Yeah,
ahead, man.
man.
That's, that's awesome.
Rainey, with all the stuff you've written, I mean, the songs you've written from the beginning, from the notebook that you had with poetry, and I want to ask you about some of the songs you've written. Do you have actually, this is going to be maybe a two-part question. First part is there a song or two that are maybe your favorites that you've written and performed in your career? Maybe one or two.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So I love performing Mother. That's it's a great song because it's so personal to me. And I've really I've bared my soul for everyone to see, which I was absolutely mortified to release that song. I do have to, I was so scared. But I loved the song. I didn't know what people were going to think. And I don't know if you guys read what the song is about at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's where my rock and roll days came in after that. I graduated,
Quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. Very quickly after that, I was like, all right. So
Yeah.
no, but that one is a great, I love singing that song and performing that song live. I also really love playing. It's actually one of my solo stuff called Unworthy. I think I sent you a video of that. Yeah.
You did. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
That one's really fun because I kind of feel like I'm Elton John or Lady Gaga or something, but only for a brief second. It's fun. It taps into a more pop place. And it's funny because my band, they heard that song and I was like, well, that song's already released. It's a solo thing I did a long time ago. And they're like, but we have to play it live. Like people would love that. And I really didn't want to do that because it's not rock, And I was like, what? No, but they love it. And people love watching me play that because I think it's fun and it kind of changes up the set a little bit, And so it showcases a skill that I have playing, but I don't like to be behind the piano the entire time, because that's kind of boring too. So yeah.
Great question.
And
Have you
really good.
You ever thought of reinterpreting it? So where it's like you start with the piano and then you kind of bring your band in to do the thing, what you guys do?
That's good.
Yeah, well, yeah, actually, yes, Kimball. The band actually wants to re-release that. Yeah, they want to re-release it with guitar in it and like how they all play it. And I mean, I'm definitely not against it. I mean, a lot of people really like it, so I would be open to it. The solo stuff was really just like a. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's like if you've got something that's working, it's kind of hard to say no, right? Like you can't deny something that's working.
Right.
Yeah. It's very true. It was hard for me to get on board, but you're right. You're right.
I get you. Well, it's old to you, but it's new for them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things where,
yeah.
I love it.
You're so right.
That's spot on, Dang.
It's not like my beard. I don't know how many people are going to see this. It's like nobody can see the age of your song, but they can see the age of this lighting right now.
Kimball.
Nice.
It's very. By the way, Kimball, your beard is very Jason Statham like. It's very Jason.
I know
Statham,
it's It's a stupid lighting too. I swear it's not this white. But, man, whatever.
It's good, bro. Dan, go ahead, man. It's awesome.
And I'll just say that the second part of the question. The second part I was going to ask is, do you have anything that you've written that you've maybe thought about putting into a song and just maybe are going to talk it over with your band? Maybe something from your old poetry or anything like that you thought about putting into music?
So I mean, that's actually a really good question. The way I write, I have to I can do it different ways, but at least what I've got accustomed to now is kind of figuring out chord progressions. And then I like to kind of work and hum melodies within it. And so it's kind of hard to match lyrics with melodies that come off the top of my head at that moment. I think what I would have to redo, and I'm not it's not that I can't do that. I think I just kind of go with this like flow, and sometimes like the syllables don't work with like kind of like the melody that I'm working on or in my head, if that makes sense. And even, you know, yeah, so just it doesn't like fit. And then so maybe what I would do in the future would probably be like, okay, I would probably revisit that specific topic and then maybe write it differently so it could fit the melody, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a great question. Yeah, totally.
That's good. That's good, Dane. I love it. You're keeping on my toes, Dane. Kimball, that's you, man, for Thursday. You want to go out with that one, Kimball?
All right, Rainy. So we kind of chatted on something before we were rolling, right? When we were talking about like learning the song right, kind of getting the tools together to make a song that you felt comfortable with putting out into the world. So as you were learning how to use your tools and create these songs that you write or whatever, were you basing, crap, how do I put this? I put it more eloquently earlier. So I guess I'll do the Rivers Cuomo thing again. So like, for example, Rivers Cuomo basically wrote down all of Kurt Cobain's like, you know, how he wrote In Bloom, how he did Teen Spirit, all that stuff. And he was like, I'm writing my own song in A, B, C, B, whatever the formula was. Did you go through any of your favorite artists and say, I want to write like you? How did you write? And then try to write a song to that?
Good. That's a great question. Well, growing up, I really loved Tori Amos.
Dude, I tell people that.
I knew it. I knew it.
Piano and
called
the vocals,
it, dude. I called
opera vocals, all that.
Because her lyrics were kind of shocking at that point when I was a kid, you know, and like listening to them. And I loved that about her. I was like, yeah, and I love the intensity of that, you know, because I feel like, you know, the best artists, they like draw you in and I've been told I'm intense and I actually have taken that kind of offensively at first. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, you know, I'm intense.
It means you're staying in people's minds.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel better now. Because
you're leaving a lasting impression.
Okay. Because I was told this by one of my ex-boyfriend's friends, and I was like, wow, okay, well, all right.
Thanks for that.
Someone else told me that.
Thanks for that.
So anyway, so I loved Tori Amos, but I also, initially, I'm such a talker. Sorry, let me gather.
No, you're good. We love it.
Okay. I loved Tori Amos, but I also loved I looked at what makes a song last the test of time. This was like my thing that I, you know, really wanted to see. What artists, why are the songs huge? You know, what was it about them that, you know, obviously why people remember them forever? That was like something I really was interested in. And so I like watched a couple documentaries of like super pop artists and some rock artists as well. And a lot of the things that I on acoustically, if a song that is acoustic is great, then it will be great to program. But if it does not sound great acoustically, then it won't resonate like as far as like maybe something that like stands forever or something that's super epic, right? So that was something, and that's my approach with everything in Alibis is I write everything obviously on the piano first, everything, and I write it all out and then go into programming just because I want the melodies and hooks to be very good and catchy, but still you know, effective but I did look at pop structure, you know, when I was briefly trying to learn about songwriting. I went to like a community college and took a couple classes about song structure, which I thought was important to learn. And so I learned about pop structure and stuff, but the more that I felt like I got comfortable in my footing of writing, I kind of ditched the rules, you know. I always tell people, you know, it's important to learn the rules so you can break them later. That's my rebellious
rock star.
I think that's the common theme throughout the just mixing engineers, producers, songwriters, everybody is like, know your basics so that nobody can shoot you down.
Yeah.
and then just say, I'm not going to use any of these. I'm going to write my own song. But as long as you can know the basics and how to write a perfect song or write a great song or whatever, then you can do whatever you want. But until then, you know, whatever.
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, kudos. Yes.
Kimball, we should
like that you said
Kimball,
that.
we should have just let you run the interview, dude, because you're so like I'm learning, I'm gleaning, man. It's cool.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
I
love it.
I'm so down with this. I love this. I feel like the beer just hit me, so the words might pause a little bit, but I'm vibing. I'm having a good time.
It's the energy, man. No, so that's spot on. I like what you said, Dane.
Yeah.
Dane, before you take 4, Dane, I'm looking at that, man. I'm kind of breaking this back down, Rainy, kind of going back through it. So I love the way you write, because I picked up on this, and it's funny. From my early days, nothing near as cool as what you've done, but writing to me makes the band. I feel like, and Kimball spoke to this too, and Dane, obviously, whether you're writing a jingle for a commercial, a deep lyrical song like Mother, or something like We Will Rock You, it doesn't matter what the level of it is. Lyrics make everything. So I love that you're so passionate about the lyrics, because you can have a great song. How do I say this? Lyrics make everything. You can't have a great song without great lyrics. And it just is.
If your lyrics suck, you can't connect.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. It's so
you got to dig your teeth in, right?
I love it.
You gotta let the audience relate to you.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The lyrics are essential. Those are usually the hardest for me. I can come up with melodies for days, but I will sit I will sit there and like, because the lyrics are super important to me, I will sit there forever and like I'll sit on one word and I'll be like, oh, that sounds stupid.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I will because it's like, if it's not good, then it's like, all right, well, they're not gonna dig this and it sounds stupid or whatever, you know. So I'm very critical.
No, it's good. Kimball, this is something I learned from Pete. Kimball, I know you had some experience with Pete. When I my first album with my first band, he would talk about how he'd write stuff like in the car, and like it might take a month to write one verse, right? And Rainy, you said that too. Sometimes, Rainy, there's like this process where it might take a month or two to write the lyrics for a song that's been out for 6 months. So anyway, I don't want to go on that too deep because I think you're spot on, but I just love that you said that. Dan, you want to go with 4, man? That's awesome. Dan.
Yeah. Now that we're halfway through November and you've done all these things in your career, and now you're with Alibis and you guys are rolling, what do you see coming up for you on the horizon to end this year, and also on the horizon for you guys in 2024?
Yeah. Well, Alibis we've only been a band a year, so it's very exciting. And that's why there's only 2 songs released, but we already have 3 other ones done. So they're going to be released after the new year. So we have a bunch of new releases coming, and they're really great. I really like those songs. And so I'm very excited about that. The releases are what I'm like super stoked about, because I obviously I want to get more music out there. And then a bunch of more shows after the new year. And obviously we want to tour at some point, but first we obviously want to get enough music out there, because everyone's been really like, where's all the new songs? So yeah, that's our goal. And I don't know, it's just been it's been really cool, because like everyone really, really likes these songs. And I feel like I found my niche, and when I was doing all the solo stuff, I don't play guitar, I would love to play guitar. I've like fiddled with it, I just like haven't had a moment. And I kind of like to just like, craft songs and like sit there. And so, that's kind of how I got my guitarist as well. I was like, I need a guitarist, because obviously if I'm going to do rock music. And so, but the solo stuff was really just kind of like a birthing of like proving to myself, like I had written so many songs even before the solo stuff, but a birthing, like really crafting like who I am as a writer. And even though it was like more pop stuff, I just, at that point I wasn't trying to do anything, just kind of see what was my writing level, so but that's exactly. And I really was like, I put a lot of pressure on myself, because after like a couple of years of really like buckling down and learning how to write, I was like, these songs better be really good, or else you got to give it up, here it is. I'm serious. I was so brutal with myself. I was like, this has got to be good. So I really put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure that the solo stuff initially was good. And then after that, like, I didn't even know the Alibi stuff was coming, and the Alibi stuff is way better than my solo stuff. So I'm just like, I think it's way, but I mean, it's like I listen to it. And I'm like, I would listen to this. I would listen to this. This is kind of cool, you know. So yeah. But
we discovered it's cool because we discovered your solo stuff too, and I love it. Like as again, every artist I know, you do that Rainy with obviously Alibis and your solo. Kimball, you've got what you do with Juliet. Obviously, Ages, which I'm such a fan of. Kimball, obviously you're doing the stuff with Chevelle. Every artist that's like an artist, I don't think there's any really artist that sticks to one lane. So I think it's really kind of spot on. You know, Dane, you said that word. The many lanes, right? So I could fanboy
if you leave it in your body, you get cancer, dude. Just saying.
You gotta get it out. Gotta get it out. Gotta get it out. So there's a segment. Kimball's been through this. So I'm sorry, Kimball, that you've been through this once. We're gonna bring you back through it again. So Rainy, there's a segment, Rainy. Every time we do an episode, we have a benchmark segment called Rapid Fire. So what we do now, Kimball, this is gonna be on the spot. We didn't prep you, Kimball. We wanted you to have a little reaction too. This is geared for Rainy.
Let's go.
So Rainy, these 5 questions, what Dane and I do. Dane and I bet on what we think you're gonna say. So you're being betted on right now. It's like somewhere on DraftKings or something. It's out there somewhere. Who knows, right? So
okay. All right.
Now, for a moment, imagine past or present reality stops existing for a second. Anything's possible. Okay. So it's gonna be PG, but we're gonna get weird for a second. Okay. So it's gonna be awesome. Okay. So Dane, are you ready? Are you ready, Dane, for these days?
Yep. I got some catching up to do.
So, Kimball, the way we'll do it, Dane and I will say what we thought, because we have the answers, what we think she's going to say. We bet on what you're going to say, Rainy. And then, Kimball, you can just give what you think the answer was after Dane and I say ours. Okay, Kimball? Okay. So, here we go.
Yeah.
So, imagine for a second. So, we're going back to 1994, Rainy. You're the artist that you are now. You're being transplanted, back in 1974, not 94. And these 2 legendary rocker ladies say, hey, we want you to come on an episode of American Gladiator and face off against us. You know, the old school, like the Nerf things and the whole crazy thing they did on Nickelodeon back in the day.
Okay,
So you get to pick one of your opponents to go against you in American Gladiator. Somehow you and the show goes back into the 70s. Got it? Here we go.
Okay.
So your opponent can either be A, legendary Janis Joplin, or B, legendary Carly Simon that you can face off American Gladiator style against. Who are you going against?
Janis Joplin.
Let's go. Dane, would you have?
Janis Joplin. Yeah.
Whoa.
She's got that sultry voice, you know? She's sultry voice and, you know, that would be fun. That would be super fun.
That's what I had. Dane, how about you, Dane?
Definitely Joplin.
What about you, Kimball?
Yeah.
Do you have that one? Or what would you have picked, Kimball?
I was saying Carly Simon because I was like, wow, Janis Joplin's a hard one to beat. So
yeah, let's go. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Kudos to you for going hard. That's awesome.
You know, I mean, she was kind of crazy, so it's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be a cool little fight, you know, like a little just getting down. So I love it. So
that would be nuts. That would definitely be nuts.
Good deal. Yes. So question 2. So of these, Randy, so question 2, we're now going to take a moment and you're being asked to kind of ghostwrite, make a, I guess you'd say like a trio. So Amy Lee calls you up and Maria Brink, they both call you up. Kind of in your genre, a little bit your wheelhouse. We're going to make a concept album. Here's the thing. You guys have to make this concept album where all 3 of you are singing and writing together. These are your 2 topics for the entire concept album. You can write an album about different types of potato chips. Got to make it cool and creepy and dark. Or B, you can write a song about album about standing in line at the DMV. Potato chips or DMV with Amy and Maria. Which one are you going with?
Potato chips. I think potato chips. You know why? Because I can avoid fully talking about the potato chip. Whereas, like, I could, like, you know, dance around it with different ways of explaining it, but not explaining it. The DMV, that'd be really hard. Like, how am I gonna, you know, what am I gonna say? Like, I mean, I guess I could do that. Like, maybe I'm in a line, and I don't know.
I'm waiting for you. I've waited for you for ages, for eternity. Like all these, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's it. Yeah. Something like that.
Dane,
that would be excellent. Yes.
Potato chips. Dane, what'd you have, Dane?
I went the other way. I went DMV because you can write about the patrons online. You get pretty dark with those, I would imagine.
Actually, that's smart. See, I didn't even think of that.
It's all good. It's all good. Rapid. What about you, Kimball? Did you have potato chips or DMV? Kimball?
Oh, dude, I went potato chips, man. DMV is too dark.
It's so
too dark, man.
It's so soul breaking, yeah. There's just like so many titles. Eternity, My Life is Being like I can just go on and on, right? I love it.
You could make
your next
metaphor.
video.
you could make the metaphors, but there would be no way to avoid the fact that you're at the DMV, and that would ruin it
See?
completely.
Yeah.
I love
Completely.
Yeah. No, it's
I
so
love
true. So true. That's why I avoided that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too
All
bad.
good.
It's too awful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
too dark. We're not going that dark. I love it.
Yeah.
So
No.
next one, Rainy. So you're being asked to do. This has been a theme from like 80s to now, where like rappers will ask legendary singers to do the hook on their rap songs. Right? It's been all
Yeah,
done throughout
yeah.
the ages. These two bands or artist bands call you up and say, "Hey, Rainy, we'd like you to drop the hook for one of our upcoming singles." They're both making a new single in 2024. You can drop the hook for the legendary Reverend Run from Run DMC. Go old school.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay.
Or you can drop
Okay.
the hook. They're both great for the next Kendrick Lamar single. Both iconic. Reverend Run or Kendrick Lamar. Which one are you going with?
Kendrick Lamar, come on.
Okay.
He's so cool. He was cool. I do like rap music. I do like hip hop. I really like Kendrick Lamar. I listened to a lot of it. I listened to that whole record, the last one with Money Trees on it. That was a good record. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had you for Reverend Run, so that's my first. What about you, Dan?
Oh.
What'd you have?
Yeah, I had Reverend Run.
What about you, Kimball?
Really?
No, dude. You got. I hate to say it, but you guys failed on that one because Rev Run is awesome, but he's not current.
Right.
You got to go
Yes.
current.
Yeah.
So
So true.
Kendrick Lamar has got the audience. So you can do the Kendrick Lamar
does.
one first, and then you
Yeah.
do Rev Run because
Gotcha.
Kendrick
There.
Lamar explodes.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Very
Yeah.
smart.
There you go.
Yes.
But-
Yes.
So right now it's a three-way tie. Kimball, Dane, and I we're all tied for what we think you're gonna say. So two more.
Okay.
This next
Okay.
one. So you're on tour. We're gonna say something like we're doing Download Fest. We're gonna prophesy. You're gonna get there. Download Fest 2024 or something. And these two bands are there, and they say, "Hey, we want your band and your camp to have an old school Nerf war. They're gonna throw a bunch of Nerf guns with you guys, and you're gonna go to town. And you have to do your camp against the camp of Shinedown or the camp of My Chemical Romance in this Nerf war. Which one are you going against?"
My Chemical Romance. I mean, of course. They're so theatrical and over the top. Like, I love that. I mean, I love that. So absolutely.
Let's
yes.
go. Dan, would you have?
I'm striking out on this.
Yeah.
I put Shinedown.
Campbell, what about you, man?
So I have to explain my answer on this one. So I said Shinedown because My Chemical Romance, they're so emo and intense that Shinedown is just gonna back down, dude. My Chem is gonna give you like an actual fight, and you could possibly lose.
Yeah, that's true.
See, you were very analytical on this. See, I didn't even get that far. I had to answer 2 seconds, or else if I had thought about it, I would have chose that now because I would have known I was gonna win. You know?
Good. That's so good. That's spot on. That's great. So final one of rapid fire. Thanks for being good sport. So last one of rapid fire. You get asked to do. There's 2 movie franchises. They're constantly making next chapters and all of that. And again, as much as your music is hopeful and positive, there is an awesome dark element too. But these 2 movie franchises say, "Hey, we'd like you to completely write the entire soundtrack for this upcoming movie. You can make the soundtrack for the next coming Resident Evil movie, or check this out, one of my favorites, you can make the next coming sequel for the new Silent Hill movie. Resident Evil or Silent Hill, which one are you going with?"
I mean, okay, I do think Resident Evil, only because Mila Jovovich, like that, just like she was like
iconic,
and it really, and it stuck with me more than Silent Hill. I think also because she's like a female lead, and I thought she was beautiful and just great and talented. You know, is that lame? I don't know.
It's great.
I feel like was that a lame answer? I can change my answer. I'll change it to something else.
It's your answer.
Okay.
I picked you for Mila as well. I had Resident Evil. Dane, how about you?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I had Resident Evil for the exact same reason.
Yep. Go.
Well, because
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have every movie. I have the whole catalog. What about you, Kimball? What'd you have on that, man?
Resident Evil. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Right. I mean,
Awesome.
and
Yeah.
plus, like when you watch movies, you know, you're always kind of looking for that person that you can kind of like, you know, vicariously live through as the
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
lead. So that would make sense to me, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I will say,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually, I was borderline because the soundtrack for the first Silent Hill '06, I watched it 6 times in theaters, and there's some
Yeah.
haunting, chilling piano stuff. So for a second, I was like,
It's
I
beautiful.
think she could do it. I think you could do a lot of that minor stuff. And like,
Oh
no,
yeah.
I think you're gonna go like kicking leather. I think you're gonna go like just angry, you know, angry. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Just for that. So
Yeah.
very
I
cool.
do love that though. I do love the beautiful piano
Yeah.
elements that are like super haunting, and you know, I can do that. I could definitely do that, but I
go.
kind of want to do the badass one, you know.
I love it.
So.
Yeah,
I love
there you
it.
go.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
on that segment, Rainy. Thanks for being a good sport. Hopefully, in interviews you've had, that's a different segment that you had before. So
It is.
love
I've never done anything like that, so
Good
I feel
deal.
really
Good deal.
cool.
Very
Yes.
cool. So, final segment of this. Thank you for being so awesome. We're going to give it to Kimball for this. This is what we call open mic. So, Kimball, you want to take it for that segment, man? So,
Yeah, sure. I guess we appreciate you for being on. This is awesome. Your
Yeah.
music is
Yeah.
great. I think you're a super
Thanks.
talent, you know. I think
Thank you.
everything you're doing is fantastic. Sorry, like I
Thank
said, the
you.
beers are catching up to me. But I guess one of the last questions I would ask you is where are you seeing yourself in the future? Where are you going?
yeah, that's good. It's really good.
That's really.
I know
really.
it's a broad.
That's so
it's a
deep.
broad question.
No,
it is, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because you got to have a focus,
You know,
right?
Yeah. You know, I really want to make, you know, I want to make great music, and, you know, I really want to pursue the band prospect of Alibis, and, really make that kind of my main focus for a while with rock music. And, you know, I would love to be known later as like a great, you know, I don't know, how do I say that without, I would love to be known as a great, you know, writer, and you know, be able to perform for many people. That's
Yeah.
truly my dream. That's all I can see.
Yeah.
When I go to sleep at night, all I do is I dream of like big, huge packed stages. That's all I you know, that's, I mean, it's
So-
such a, when I perform, I love it. I love it so much.
So is your goal, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but is your goal to be
Yeah.
an artist at the end of the day? Do you want to be an artist? Do you want to be a performing artist? Do you want to be a writer? Or like where's the end goal on this one?
That's good.
I definitely want to be an artist. You
Nice,
know,
okay.
I think it would be fun later to write for other people, but for now, I really want to be my own artist. You know, I feel like I owe it to myself. I've got a lot of people that are like, can you write stuff for me, you know, and stuff like that. But
Sure.
and I'm not against that, and I definitely will do that later. But I feel like I owe it to myself, and all the work that I put in to accomplish that for myself first, you know. So
Absolutely.
yes, I want to be an artist. So,
Awesome.
yes.
Well, that's great. That's great to
Yeah.
hear, because when you find talent, especially these days, I feel like a lot of people like to hide behind the camera. You know what I mean? So it is nice to see somebody who's like, I'm going to show my face, I'm going to do the thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the thing, Troubadour, when, where, how? I think everybody needs to know about that, right?
Yeah. So it's November 24th. We're headlining. We're playing at 10. I shouldn't have said that, but the show starts. Yeah. Oh, really?
Hey.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, hopefully you won't be sleeping because you ate so much, but you know, that would be awesome if
all the turkey,
you came out, you know.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So so we're playing Troubadour. It's gonna be an awesome show. I'm super excited about it, and it's all ages, so anyone can come, really.
Oh.
So it's exciting.
What time are you guys on?
So we play at 10. We play at 10 that night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, killer.
Isn't that that's
Yeah.
like right up your alley, Kimball? Isn't it? Like that's it's your spot, bro. Because you guys just did Troubadour a while back, right, Kimball? Isn't that correct?
We did. What was it? It was Candlebox's last show. It was us and them. So
that's crazy.
It was pretty rad.
Wow.
But the unfortunate thing is I don't live in LA anymore.
Okay.
Oh,
Gotcha.
where do you live?
I live in Palm Springs now.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's
a little bit of a drive, right?
How much I ate and how much I drank is that's the deciding factor. I would love to see it. I really would.
Yeah.
This has been a great conversation, and your music's fantastic.
Thank you.
And seeing you in person and talking to you seems like you're such a great, charismatic artist. So it's nice.
Absolutely.
It's nice to see, you know, because you really do have a charm and a thing that's just like it's you. It's unique.
Yeah,
it's nice.
And
Thank
that's
you
why
so much.
Yeah.
Dane, we talked about this. Dane and Campbell, I'll make sure Rainy and Campbell, I'll link you guys up on Facebook and all that after this.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Dane and I Dane, as we close this, we talk about this a lot. We have always been a fan of role models. Rainy, you are, like it or not, you're a role model now. You're making great music. Girls across the world look up to you. We said when we began this show, we interview our heroes and people that mean a lot to us. I love what you're doing to let these girls know, the next generation, hey, you can you can be yourself, be completely yourself, and make great music, and people respect you for who you are. You're the reason that we do our show. Dane, we always say the next generation is in good hands, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I say, what you're doing is great. I mean, like you said, you guys been together for a year, but you've put out some great stuff. And like I said, I took my daughter to a basketball game tonight, and on the way I said, check this song out. And I played her Dark Side, and she loved it. Yeah. So if you can influence that next generation, you're doing something well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course, Rainy. We had a few fans too of yours that they wanted me to give you a couple shout outs. So Nick, our buddy from World's Strongest Man, Jade, Chelsea Connor, UFC fighter, my buddy Vin from American Ninja Warrior, of course, Kimball, Rocket from Lady Gaga says he's sorry that he missed you, loves your stuff. So just a few people that have listened to you. Because what you're doing is genuine and it's real. So we just respect you writing great content and being kind of a revival of great music. I go back to when I say things like My Kim, of course, what Kimball's doing. When I think of Chevelle, when I think of early 12 Stones, Evanescence, the whole scene, you're making music again that for us that we like. I'm sorry, TikTok. I like real music, or I like better music, if I could say that, Kimball. So, Rainy, thank you for doing what you're doing. So I love it. So.
No, and I have to say, thank you so much for being so persistent and making sure I got on here and and just really believing in me and whatnot, a journey for me to even get here. It's just being the songs that I write and just trying to be a vulnerable, real artist is it's definitely not easy. And there's always room to feel nervous about the vulnerability, because that's I think that's what makes a great artist, is someone who can be vulnerable, because otherwise what are you doing, and I see a lot of women, they rely on just the kind of sexuality and soul that should be provided in music, and it's not wrong, so don't get me wrong, but I do find it's also shortening, it's limiting, right? Eventually you get old and
there needs to be
you can't always
context.
sell sex. Correct. Exactly. And so I always strive that I wanted to connect with people more on a deeper level than just that. So but I really appreciate what you've done, Josh, and you really it just means the world to me hearing that, because it's just been a journey, and I appreciate it. So
I think when we look down the road as you continue to drop these singles and what you're doing, Dana would say this. I think you're just getting started, and you have a great following already, and it's no wonder why people love you. Genuine, great music, charismatic, a friend to everyone. When I met you, I felt like I known you for 10 years. It's so cool.
I know.
How cool it was to connect, right? So we love what you're doing. So Rainy, we say this like we've told Kimball, please, because we're always about giving back. Please make it the first of many as you guys continue to drop singles and your album. This show is a platform for you. Please come back. We'll make it a point of that.
Okay.
So
I would love to. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Josh. And
of course,
thank you, Dane and Kimball. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
As promised, I'll link you guys up after this. Rainy, you're welcome to drop off or listen as we kind of monologue and say nice things. So thank you for your time. We love you, and we can't wait to see you continue to flourish. Okay. So
thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thank you.
Okay.
So Dane and Kimball, let's talk for a second. Dane, what do you think of her? She's awesome, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, you talked to her like you said there at the end. I mean, you talked to her for 5 minutes, even whenever we were before the episode, we were talking to her, and I felt like I've known her for a few years, because she's just that engaging and she's that endearing to people. So to meet somebody like that has so much to say and has so much depth in what they do is you tell it's a passion for her, and she takes it serious when it comes to her music.
Kimball, as an artist, what'd you think, man? What'd you think of her, man? Great, huh? So
She's confident and persistent, which I think is two traits that artists need. And sometimes
mhm.
people can look at them the wrong way and be like, "Oh, you're too confident," or whatever. But that it without it, you're nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that she is just confident and persistent. Yeah,
Yeah,
she seems awesome.
man.
Yeah, she seems great.
Yeah, Kimball, I go back to as Dane and I, because again, you've been so gracious with your time, Kimball. When we go back to when we started doing this, Dane and I look back over the past couple of years. Our message, our mindset was we want to showcase people that are giving something great to the world. What you've
Yeah.
done again with your multiple projects, people like her,
Mm-hmm.
the athletes and the musicians. We mean what we say. We interview people that we love, and it was great to have you part of this. I don't know, just the next generation of artists is in great hands. People like her,
Yeah.
I love what they're doing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the scene, man. So again, you talked about like what you guys did with with Candlebox and all that. Troubadour is an
Sure.
iconic venue. That's an iconic venue. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So she's hitting it hard, and
Yeah.
they're persistent. It's crazy to hear that. You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And to be playing at 10 p.m., man, she's got that prime slot. It's
that's
pretty
great.
legit. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, man, Kimball, it's again, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I meant every word I said, and the interviews passed, and I continue to kind of keep in touch with you. We respect you. We are huge fans of you. I had to give a shout out our Aunt Sharon, biggest Kimball fan in the world. Hi, Sharon. Kimball
Ha!
says hi. We love you, Kimball.
Yes, I say hi.
Yeah, we're huge fans. She's like, I'm thinking about getting the Aegis tattoo on my arm. What do you think of that? I'm like,
Oh my
I think
gosh.
that'd be legit, man. So so
I think that's the worst idea, but I would love to see it.
it'd
I
be legit,
wouldn't
like
do it,
right
but
there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
I'm not gonna do it, but I would love to see somebody else do it.
if she does it, I'll make sure I send you a pic, bro. But
Oh
Kimball,
man.
man,
Anything if she does it, anything we're doing, she's in.
that's good, dude. Awesome.
No questions asked. Yeah.
Well, on behalf of Dane and I, Kimball, and the show, I hope you have a great holiday season, man. Thanks
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
again
And
your
a
time.
happy birthday.
Yeah, man, it's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
You're getting
Awesome.
younger
Thank you,
every
guys.
year. The gray is getting darker, man. So I got you.
Hey,
It's just getting more peppered.
I really don't think so, but I should have shaved before we did this. But
It's all
I
good,
will
man.
be shaved next time I see you guys, I'm sure.
Good. Yeah, Kimball, again, we've got a few more, so I'll keep in touch, brother. Thanks again for all you do. If we don't talk before the
Yeah.
holidays, have a happy holiday season, brother, and much love. And we'll be in touch very soon.
Likewise,
Okay?
guys. Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
brother.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Take
soon.
Kimball.
care, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Later,
time, man.
guys.
Love
Bye.
it.
Yeah. Bye.
So Dane, we close on you and me, Dane. Dude, I'm floored, man. What do you think? So
Yeah, I'm blown away. I mean, you meet people and you hope they have something to say, and she's one of those kind of people that you hope to meet. You know, she has so much to say, and she's just getting started. I mean, even though she said she's been at it for a while, to her, she still has that fire of I'm just getting started. I'm just starting to notice what I can do. So watch me grow. And I'm glad we're at this part of it, that we've, got to know her at this stage of her career, and just I can't wait to see her explode.
just to launch, man. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So that was an absolute joy for me. I love
Yeah.
what she's for. I love her mindset. I love the way she goes about writing. I eat that stuff up. If you notice, Dane, me and you, I'm happy about it. We said like 6 words, and I'm so glad. Like, just
Yeah.
sit back and roll the tape, and let's just listen and glean some things for the next, So I'll
Yeah.
listen to that one over and over again. She's fantastic. Her, and of course
Absolutely.
Kimball both. Kimball, great musician, like dude, playing with Chappelle, Ages, Juliet, and the Licks. To have that combination, like a pre-Thanksgiving feast of information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was awesome.
And what's the saying? To be a fly on the wall. It's
Yeah.
I think we just lived it on that one.
I'm happy. That's another. I didn't even know my bucket list had gotten so big, and now I'm like, dude, this is
Yeah.
fantastic. So, Rainey, on behalf of you and the band, we are big supporters. We can't wait to see your career flourish. Again, of course, Kimball, thanks for that. Dan, we got a
Absolutely.
big week of interviews next week. We're going to save
Yep.
some of that because I don't want to tarnish this one with talking
Yeah.
too much. So, thank you again to all of you. Don't forget, as always, that we love you in closing. And Dane,
Thank you for listening.